Hello everybody, and a very happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the United States. This is Lara at Pure Elliott Wave. Very quick update for Bitcoin, Ethereum and XRP for you. Bitcoin a couple of days ago had a really strong downward session. Yesterday it had a strong upward session, but the close of yesterday's session is not beyond the open of the previous session. This is a very strong bullish piercing pattern, but it's not strong enough to be a bullish engulfing, but it's a pretty strong bullish reversal pattern. I'm not going to consider it a bullish reversal pattern though, because it's in the context of sideways movement, not downward movement. That's one of the things about candlestick reversal patterns. There has to be something to reverse, so you should consider a bearish pattern in the context of an upward trend and a bullish pattern in the context of a downward trend. This is in the context of a sideways consolidation. So yes, it's bullish, but no, I'm not going to consider it a reversal. In order for us to have confidence in the direction of the next trend for the short term for Bitcoin, we need to see a breakout of this consolidation with a close above 38,000 or a close below 35,000. For the very short term, I will read the volume profile as bearish, which leads me to suspect a downward breakout might be a bit more likely than upward. On balance volume is now tracing out a neat little range. I'll watch this one very carefully. If on balance volume breaks above resistance or below support prior to price breaking out of that consolidation, it may give us an advance warning of the direction for price. That's a really neat way to use on balance volume. That's my favorite. ADX is still declining. There's no clear trend. Pretty obviously, price is now consolidating. The previous upward trend was very extreme. RSI was overbought. It's now neatly in neutral territory, as is money flow. There is now room for a new trend to develop in either direction. My Elliott Wave count for Ethereum, I wanted to quickly explain something I forgot to mention yesterday. I'd previously expected it was going to be a double zigzag and going to move lower, possibly to find support at this trend line. My view on that now has changed because the Elliott Wave structure is a bit different. Double zigzags should have a clear counter trend slope. The X waves are commonly brief and shallow, and wave Y of a double zigzag normally moves substantially or reasonably beyond the end of W to achieve that clear counter trend slope. But I'm changing this from a double zigzag to a double combination. Now they are labeled the same way, W, X, Y, but they're quite different structures. There are two families of corrections, and in classic analysis terms we understand there are two ways price can move in a counter trend direction. It can either be a sharp bounce or pullback, so a clear sharp movement, or we can see a sideways meandering consolidation. Elliott Wave puts that into structures. The sharp movements are single and multiple zigzags. That's the sharp family, and the other family is that sideways movement, combinations, triangles, and multiple flats. So this is a double combination, and they're actually pretty common corrective structures. The first structure here in the double is a zigzag labeled minuet W. X is a brief shallow 3 in the opposite direction. Well, it's not actually that shallow, it's quite deep, so it fits either for a double flat or double combination, double zigzag or double combination. It'll fit either. Usually X waves and double zigzags are quite shallow. Here this is pretty deep, it's just under 80% of W, so that's deep. And now Y is moving sideways as a regular flat correction, it looks like. So you've got A, B is a 100% correction of A, and let's put some detail in here for B. B has to be a zigzag because micro B is less than 90% the length of A, so you've got a zigzag up here, and now I'm expecting a 5-wave structure down for C to complete minuet Y, to complete a double combination for minute 2. The purpose of double combinations is quite different to double zigzags. Double zigzags, the second zigzag in the double has the purpose of deepening the correction when the first zigzag doesn't move price deep enough, but the second structure in a double combination has a different purpose, to take up time and move price sideways. So to achieve that purpose, it normally ends about the same level as the first. I'm expecting subminuet C to move at least slightly below the end of subminuet A at 1906.37 to avoid a truncation, not a running flat because B hasn't moved beyond the start of A, but to avoid a truncation because truncations are very, very rare. So it's most likely to move below this, which would see it end about the same level as W, so I expect slightly below this point, but not very much. So maybe the log function of the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio at 1876.56 would see this consolidation overall sideways with a slight downward slope, but overall sideways. That's what I expect now because the Elliott Wave structure is different to what I originally expected. At the daily chart level, Ethereum had a nice strong bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. I said we'd look at volume after the session closed, so let's have a look. Did not manage to have push from volume, so probably shouldn't be noting that because it's actually in the context of a sideways movement. Resistance 2,400, support still holding at 1880. We need to see a breakout above resistance or below to support to have confidence in the next direction for Ethereum. ADX still declining, down from danger territory of above 45, now below 45. Let's see if it can get below both DX lines. RSI still neutral, down from danger territory of deeply overbought, and money flow nicely still in neutral territory. Here's my Elliott Wave count for XRP, and I'm going to answer someone's question visually. Someone asked this question in the comments section of the YouTube channel yesterday. I have this ending contracting diagonal for my Newt Wave C complete down here at the low for 21st of November, but it could be continuing. It's a contracting diagonal because 3 is shorter than 1 and 4 is shorter than 2. But the question was asked, what if 3 was over here? It looks like a really good three-wave structure, doesn't it? 4 could be over here. The trend lines do look like they are still slightly converging. They must converge to meet the rules for a contracting diagonal, so that rule is still met. Now the other rule that must be met, 3 is shorter than 1, which means that 4 must be shorter than 2. At 0.6295, 4 would reach equality in length with 2. So above that point, I will have confidence in this labelling. Because that idea I just showed you at that point, above 0.6295, actually at 0.6295, that idea I just tried to outline for you, that idea would be invalid. So we have a nice confidence point, which adds a little bit of confidence that this pullback for XRP should be over if we see a high at or above 0.6295. Technicals, I'm going to label this a bullish piercing pattern, telling us that this pullback may very well be over. Price finding support at the 50-day moving average. Let's see if it can break above resistance here at 62 cents. The piercing pattern, though, does not have push from volume. For cryptocurrencies, this is not a deal breaker, unfortunately. They can be very weak off their lows, which is one of the most annoying traits of these markets. It makes their lows really hard to identify. It's not until you see that parabolic growth in bullish movement that you can really have confidence that, okay, the low's in and this is a bull run, not a bear market rally. On balance, volume has a nice little range now for XRP. Keep an eye on this one. I had previously the support line along these two pivot lows, but now let's pull it down to here. It's got better technical significance now because the slope is more shallow. Let's look for a break above resistance or below support. The resistance line has a few tests, but it's got a really steep slope, so very low technical significance. But a break above resistance would give a very weak bullish signal. A break below support would give a weak bearish signal because there's only the minimum required 2 anchor points you need to draw a line there. ADX is declining after reaching fairly extreme. RSI reached deeply overbought, nicely in neutral territory, just below 50. Really good to see for XRP still. And money flow now below 50. That's it from me with a super quick update on Thanksgiving for you. And I'm going to enjoy my only ever in my entire life second Thanksgiving. So I'm super excited about that. And a very happy Thanksgiving to everyone else in the United States.